Hello, hello, hello. Okay, everybody. Well, how is everybody doing today? Welcome to this week's coaching webinar, and it's actually going to be the last webinar that we're doing in this format. This webinar series, this coaching webinar series is ending this week. This is the last week. However, I am planning to do something special for you guys in May, and in May is when we're going. I've been talking to Brian Gibbons, and I think you guys, yeah, you've heard about Brian. He came on, was it last week or the week before last? So he came on and talk to us here. But I'm doing something special that we're putting together. So we're going to be teaching a class together. It's still going to be on Tuesday evenings for the month of May. We're still working out all the final details, but it will be a 4-week class, and the class is going to focus on seller financing flips. So how to very similar to what we've been teaching about. But you'll be able to, I guess you'll be able to hear how, coming from his angle and coming from my angle, and why and when you do which one. And we'll talk, we'll go a little bit more in terms of like the marketing that you do, the documents that you use, and then depending on your state, whether you're going to be using lease options or contract for deed, and then and more specifically too is that we have to what type of sellers we're going to be using or doing, because effective. Well, here in Texas, it's I guess the effective date would be May 31st here, but effective in July 1st nationwide is that the seller financing law has changed, and if unless you are seller financing a personal residence property, your own personal residence, then you would need to you would have to have a license in order for you to originate such loan. What that means is that whenever we're dealing with a homeowner who is not who is not a personal resident of the it's not their homestead property, such as their rental property, then they will not be able to sell on seller financing anymore starting July 1st. They would have to use a licensed mortgage person, like a loan officer or mortgage broker, to originate that loan. So let me try to find the email on that so I can kind of read that to you. And the email I'm talking about is one that's specific to Texas. But hold on here. I'm trying to find the PDF document. Okay. Let me. Okay. Can you guys see this? Okay. Memorandum. All right. This is from this title company here. Right here. Okay. It talks about the let me make sure you guys can read this. I'll try to zoom it up to more. Okay, I don't know. Let me see if I can zoom this up some more so you guys can see it with me here. challenges. But basically, too big. You can't see it. Okay, let me see. Okay. These new rules bear with importance on self-financing after April 1st, 2010. Now, this is applicable to Texas, okay? For those of you outside of Texas, you got to check with your own state. But I know nationally it's July 1st, but apparently Texas decided to do this sooner than later. If you sold a house or vacant lot and carried back the note, you are breaking the law after April 1st, 2010, unless you have the license. Tools. Okay. Federal law is the Secure and Fair Enforcement for Mortgage Licensing Act 2008, the State Act. So they amended that that act here, and here's the bill number if you want to look at this. legislate.tx.us/bill lookup/bill number.aspx. Bill number is 2779 and number 10. Okay. Let me go, but let me see here. Okay. I draw your attention to the residential loan licensing letter in paragraph 5. You will see that there remains a limited exception for selling your homestead or a sale to a close family relation. So if you're selling it to your sister, then you don't need to be licensed. But if you're selling to someone else, then you do. The exemption which previously Texans enjoyed no longer applies. Anyone who originate loan or provide self-financing not covered by these two circumstances, even just one time without being licensed, will be committing a misdemeanor. Let me see here. Getting a license is not a simple thing, requiring 20 education hours, passing separate federal and state tests, a credit check, fingerprinting fees, and other such items as well. I mean, 20 hours of class is not that bad, you know. This also affects, but I think 20 hours is for mortgage broker. I don't think that's for loan officers. If you want to be a mortgage broker, but you should be able to do this. You can just be a loan officer to originate loans. I don't think you need that many hours to be a loan officer. This also affects employees of government entity, blah, blah, nonprofit, individual manufacturer, home salesperson who are handling finances, financing, independent third-party mortgage loan processors and underwriters, and individual mortgage banker originators. Okay. The landscape now is completely different, and without a license, private financing may not be available. This, I believe, does not apply to commercial property. It does, however, apply to vacant lots intended for residential use. My best determination at this time is that residential is defined as our traditional 1-4 family. So let's go look at the document from the SAFE Act here. Okay. All right. Residential loan licensing. Many of you have been challenged in your relationship with lenders in the last few months with the significant changes in RESPA. There are still more changes ahead in the mortgage lending arena for those of us in Texas, with implementation on April 2nd, 2010 of the Secure and Fair Enforcement for Mortgage Licensing Act of 2008. Okay, let me see here. SAFE, the abbreviation for this Secure and Fair Enforcement thing here. SAFE specifies minimum standards for all states in the regulation of residential mortgage loan originators. Unfortunately, Texas was one of only 2 states that already exceeded all of these standards. However, there are also certain mandates that remove flexibility we have provided in the past to significantly expand the range of individuals required to be licensed. The purpose of this article is to both raise your awareness of the upcoming changes and to seek your continual cooperation, ensuring only properly licensed individuals are providing residential mortgage loans. And licensed residential mortgage loan origination is a misdemeanor offense in Texas. Many people who have never been required to be licensed before would need to have completed that process prior to May 31st, 2010. So, this is sort of like that grandfather rule, right? So, you are planning to originate non-homestead properties, you have to be licensed by May 31st, 2010. Okay. Okay, I'm going to skip that part, but here's the part that might interest you. Texans have in the past enjoyed the minimus exemption for seller financing or other mortgage loan origination activity that was 5 or fewer transactions in a rolling 12-month period. Under the SAFE Act, this exemption no longer applies. There remains an exemption for the seller financing of your homestead or to direct familial relations. But anyone else who originates a loan or provides seller financing not covered by the 2 above circumstances, even just once, without being licensed, will be committing a misdemeanor. It sounds like it's repetitive, so let me move here. I'm sure by now if you search online, there probably is a lot of information on this matter. Okay, I'm scrolling down here. This is the SAFE Act. Oh, okay. Here, provides minimum standards for licensing registration as a state license among the originator that includes not having a loan originated license revoked in any governmental jurisdiction, not having been convicted of or plead guilty or no contest of felony in domestic, foreign, or military courts during the 7-year period preceding the date of the application for licensing and registration. So if you have a criminal record within the last 7 years, you're not going to be able to get your loan officer's license here. Or at any time preceding the date of the application if the felony involved an act of fraud, dishonesty, or breach of trust, or money laundering, demonstrating financial responsibility, character, and general fitness to command the confidence of the community and to want a determination that the loan originator will operate honestly, fairly, and efficiently. At least 20 hours of pre-licensing education. Okay, so you do have to get 20 hours of education here, which would include at least 3 hours of federal law and regulations, 3 hours of ethics, and 2 hours of training related to lending standards for the non-traditional mortgage product marketplace, passing a written pre-licensing test, meeting either a net worth or a surety bond requirements, or paying into a state fund. Okay, that's not too bad. This thing got cut off. I think that was it. So that must be an older document. But yeah, so so I mean, right now this is being effective in Texas, but like I said, starting July 1st, that's pretty much going to be a nationwide thing. And so the way we the way we get around this, is that number one, if you're not licensed, okay. Well, number one, if you are outside of Texas, you're going to be using lease options. You're not going to be using contract for deed, or you're not going to be using a wraparound mortgage if you're outside of Texas. And for those of you who are in Texas and doing deals in Texas, and this is, I think with this thing that comes out, it might be better for us to not do deals in Texas. For those of you who want to continue to do deals in Texas, then you need to be working with a mortgage broker or a loan officer. And of course, now some of your profits are being eaten up there, and so you have to be using a loan officer, or you're going to have to get your own loan officer's license. In my case, I am sending my assistant Yuvia to get her loan officer's license, so that way she can originate these loans for us. But like I said, for those of you outside of Texas, you're not going to worry about any of these stuff. You're just going to do lease options from now on. Okay. So no more contract for deed, no more wraparound mortgage for those of you outside of the states, outside of Texas, because the tax credit is ending in a couple more days anyway. So the reason why we were doing owner financing was because of the tax credit. Since now the tax credit is going away, then we don't need to do the owner financing anymore. We'll just do these options instead. And and like I said, for those of you in Texas, then you just have to work with a mortgage broker or loan officer, or get your own license, which is in my case, that's what I'm having my assistant to do. I just have to go get her own license. Anybody have questions regarding this? Have anybody, like Ron, have you read over the Safe Mortgage License Act? I haven't read it yet. I'm just going based off what my friends tells me, because they do a lot of these owner financing stuff too, and I know that there's several people are putting together groups and lobbyists and stuff to try to fight against this. Let me give you this website. This website might help. Hold on. My friend Jack Sternberg put up this website, and he organized with a group, but it's called nappppr.org. So let me go to that website here. nappppr.org. Okay. So all of you want to go here and support this website here. Okay. You see the domain name, nappppr.org. So there's 3 P's there in the middle. It stands for National Association to Protect Private Property Rights. Okay. So it's going to try to get all of the homeowners together. All right. Here's the headline: Enough is enough. The federal government has passed new legislation that will take effect on July 1st, 2010. Will have devastating consequences on your right to conduct your real estate-related business. It doesn't matter whether you invest in real estate or not, and it doesn't matter if you're a real estate broker broker, agent, or mortgage professional. The new regulations and others like it will damage and maybe destroy the livelihood of hundreds of thousands of real estate professionals like you. Okay. Then yeah, donate here so that way we can raise money to have lobbyists to fight this for us. And if you want to know more information here, you can also opt in to get more information. Okay. So check out the website nappr.org. So so like I said, after we only have a few more days here for the tax credit to end, and there's no extension in sight. And so we have until Friday. So from Friday on, when you are talking to sellers, you are really going to use the term rent to own from now on, and you're no longer going to use the term owner financing. And same thing when you so you still do the deals just like just like you have done it with owner financing. The only difference now is it's just a lease option, which is the way we used to do it before the tax credit came around. But ever since the tax credit came around, we started doing the owner financing. So that way, we started doing owner financing so we can take advantage of the $8,000 tax credit that was around. So after this Friday, when you talk to sellers, you're just going to use the term rent to own, okay? And you're going to use the term lease option. And if you're in Texas, then then you're still going to use the owner financing, except for we're going to have to do things differently. So I highly recommend that you make it easy on you. If you just do it for your own market area. Don't try to do it in Texas until we figure out a better way around that without you needing to work with a mortgage person. But yeah, I mean, I know, Julio, like in your case, you're in Canada, you need to start doing this in Canada, but that's going to be a much easier thing for you than trying to do it here in Texas. Because if you do it in Texas, you're going to very limit yourself on the type of sellers. So we're going to be focusing less on landlords. We're going to be focusing more on homestead sellers who actually own the property and maybe currently living in it, but they can't afford it anymore, so they're moving out of it. Something to that effect. But but we're going to be dealing more with normal homeowners moving forward. So we're going to avoid landlord as much as we can until we get licensed and are able to do it more easily. We still can go after landlords and work for the mortgage broker, but I mean, we'll have to give them some money and pay them out of the deal. So I think that makes it harder. All right. Anybody have questions regarding this? Or anybody have questions regarding anything, any of the deals you're working on? Any real estate questions that you might have? Like I said, this is going to be the last coaching webinar for this series, so you're not going to get any more emails about this. the next email that you're going to get is going to get you to sign up for an, a another series that we're doing. But the upcoming series that we're going to be doing is only for 4 weeks, so it's just for the month of May. And I'm still working out all the schedules and everything, so it might start in the middle of May and go to the middle of June. But yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be just limited to that. So if you have questions, now is the best time to ask. And of course, you guys also have access to all the replay of past webinars as well that you can be the past webinars as well that you can be watching. Okay. Ron asked, will you be showing us step by step how to do the lease option process? Ron, it's like I said, it's very, very similar. The answer is yes, we will be doing that, and I think we might have done that before already. It's very similar to the process we're doing now with the wraparound mortgage stuff, the owner financing stuff. The only difference is that with the lease options, when you don't have to close out a title company, and you're going to use a couple of different documents. So you'll have an option agreement, and then you have a lease. So right now, when you do an owner financing, you have a contract to sell property, right? So that's the only difference that's going to happen. You still, when you talk to sellers, you're still going to get the flex option. Once you find a buyer, then what you're going to do is you're going to convert your flex option into an option agreement and then a lease agreement. And you're going to connect the sellers and the buyers together, and you're not going to go through a title company anymore. And whatever the buyer has to put as a down payment, that's how you are going to get paid from the deal. Yeah, I mean, other than that, the process is pretty much the same. You guys will have all of the documents that you need already in the forms disk. If you don't have the forms disk, it's in the members area. So it's really, the process is nothing much different than the way we've been doing it now. Okay. So don't think it's some new complicated stuff. It's not. It's actually easier and less complicated than owner financing deals, and it makes it easier that you don't have to go through a title company also. So there's less cost for the seller. The seller don't have any closing costs. The buyer doesn't have any closing costs, and so the extra money that they have that they normally would have to pay for closing costs can now go toward the down payment instead. Julio asked, it means that any owner financing deals in Texas needs one, get it from homeowners, not from landlords anymore. That is correct. Number two, have involved a mortgage agent for the mortgage origination, correct? Well, if it's a homeowner that is a homestead property, meaning they live in that property, they don't rent it out, then you don't need a loan officer. Okay, you don't need a loan officer or a mortgage broker. You only need a loan officer or a mortgage broker if it's a landlord property, if it's a non-homestead property. So like for me personally, if I was to do owner financing on my houses, then I would need to have a mortgage broker or a loan officer, or I myself have to be licensed to be able to do those type of loans. Okay. Any more questions, Joe? Okay. Well, that's that's the only thing that that I have to talk to you guys about today. So if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and end the webinar now. And just like I said, Brian Gibbons and I are still planning out. We know for sure we're going to do it. So there's going to be a 4-week coaching program on seller financing flips here. That's going to be coming up in May. We don't know the exact dates of when we're going to do it. We don't know when we're going to open up for you guys to sign up or not yet, but we know for sure it's going to happen. Probably the second week of May is when it's going to start. It might start sooner. It might even start on the first week of May here. More than likely it's going to start the second week of May, because I still have to plan everything out with Brian, make sure that my schedule and his schedule fits and everything. And chances are we're still going to do it on a Tuesday evening, kind of like this. We might do it a little bit later, so that way, the people that come on from, I don't know for sure. I'm gonna have to talk to Brian about that. Either, we'll either do it at 7 p.m. Central, or we do it at 5 p.m. Central, one or two of those things, and they will still happen on Tuesday evenings. And so be on the lookout for that. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun, to have another person to teach that class with me, so I don't have to do it all myself. Okay. All right, Ron, you have a question regarding the closing, okay? Let me see here. You can go ahead and ask, Ron. Let me unmute you. Ron, can you hear me? You don't have a mic. Well, go ahead and type in the question and I'll answer it. Or you can call in too if you want. And switch the audio mode over to telephone and call in. Whatever's easier for you. Casey said, Tim, you are so lazy. It's not lazy. It gets boring teaching by yourself, And I have been on here. I've been doing this Tuesday class for how long now? I think I've been doing it since the beginning of the year. So it's been or even before that. It's been a while. I submitted an invoice for closing. Okay. How are you getting paid from the deal, Ron? Are you getting paid an $8,000 tax credit? How are you getting paid from it? If you're getting paid from the $8,000 tax credit, then you're going to submit the invoice to the title company, and also let the title company know that the second lien that they are creating for the seller is going to be assigned to you to pay off your invoice. The agent thought I was billing twice, 2 ways. Part of the cash portion of the down payment, as well as part of the tax rate outside of closing. That's okay. Then that's a little bit more complicated. And just make sure you say so in your invoice. How much of the tax credit outside of closing are you getting? I guess how much of each side are you getting? Who is she? Who didn't like the invoice? Get 2,500 from the cash and 5,500 from the tax credit. Okay. Okay. Well, if it's Kathy, then you have to talk to Stan and let Stan talk to her about how you're gonna do that then. Okay. So I'll just talk to Stan about that because he deals with Kathy on a regular basis. I don't deal with her, so yeah. But either way, I'm sure they'll work it out correctly for you. It does complicate things a little bit, but not too much. Because now the seller can't just assign you the $5,500 tax credit. But just talk to Stan, and if needed, you might have to three-way conference in with Katie and figure out how you're going to do that. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, yeah, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar now. But, all right, well, thank you so much for tuning in to this coaching webinar, as well as all of the ones we've been doing for the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months now, I guess. I don't know how long we've been doing these Tuesday ones. I think for at least maybe 6 months. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long while since we've been doing this, but it's coming to an end now, and so you don't be expecting any more emails for the Tuesday ones. There's the new series that's going to be coming up in May, but it's only for the month of 4 weeks in May, and that's it. All right. Well, if you guys have any other questions, just submit it to the hotline in the members area. So, of course, log into the members area to get access to the hotline from there. All right, everybody. Well, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune in to the Happy Hour TV. We'll have a lot of fun online. So, all right. Talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.